Go.
Good morning, world. My name is Sorel Ketan. My business partner and partner in doing great deeds is Giovanni Gonzalez. Together, we created this crazy space called the Daily Huddle. And we did so just for the sake of being with you this morning. So I'm great. I'm delighted to see you. Good morning, Andrea. Andrea, I have a question for you.
What's up, Sorel?
Are you ready? Are you sure?
With you, I don't know.
If your karate master's offering you a fruit drink, why should you duck?
I have no idea.
It might be a fruit punch.
Wow.
I want you to know I did not pay Chase to laugh the way he did. And Chase,
I don't know why that got me. That was I loved it. I loved it so much. Thank you so much.
and you may be thinking, where is he coming from with this random karate master thing? Well, I want you to know that the gentleman who's with us this morning, our guest, David Arsenault, is actually an international athlete in Taekwondo, indeed, a black belt. So watch out. If he offers you some fruit punch, duck.
Or dodge.
Chase, good morning. Tell me, what time is it? And what are you grateful for?
The time is now, right now. And I'm grateful for my imagination.
Yes, only your imagination could take you in the world where you laugh at that joke.
Yes, sir. That's true.
Andrea, good morning. Where are you and who are you going to hug today?
I am right where I need to be, which is right here, the only place to be. And I'm going to hug my daughters again.
Lately you have not been hugging yourself, and I'm a little bit worried.
Yeah, that's true. Let's rewind. Can you ask me that question again?
Who will you hug today?
First, I'm going to hug myself. Big hug. And then I'm going to hug my daughters.
There you go. Great, great. Thank you for being here, Andrea. And the last question is going to go to my friend, Rashida Wright. Rashida, how are you? And I want to know, how is the tree doing?
Oh, I am. I'm grateful, I'm thankful, and I'm so full of gratitude from the universe and my ancestors.
Thank you for being here, Rashida. Well, folks, we have a juicy question for you today. And the question is this: literacy. Could it be your reliable access to participation, growth, and self-expression in the world? And you might be thinking to yourself, what is literacy? And that's what we're going to sink our teeth in this morning. Our guest is David Arsenault. David's got 34 years of experience in the field of physical activity and athletics. David's a former international athlete in Taekwondo, a professional trainer, and a visionary change maker. He's the founder and executive director of the Champions for Life Foundation. David's a happy husband, a proud father who has devoted his life's work to teaching children how to move to the best of their abilities. His personal journey is guided by his love for movement and sharing his passion with others. David and I met on a trip in Panama. So we're new friends, but that doesn't make us strangers or people who might be wondering, well, what are we up to? I immediately connected with you, David, and I'm so grateful I met you. So grateful that today you're here to share with the world this concept called literacy. Good morning, David. Welcome from Montreal.
Yes, good morning. I am here with you and all your wonderful guests, Giovanni as well. I'm so grateful to be here, and I'm so grateful that we met, and I love this topic. And literacy to me comes alive through movement, because there's different ways that we can communicate. So I'm looking forward to getting into this conversation with
Yeah. First of all, tell us in as briefly as you can about what's in the name Champions for Life, and what is it that Champions for Life exists to create in the world?
Well, my passion being helping children, but being a champion for life means a few things. So in the word champion, you have the sense that you have an individual who is trying to surpass themselves by meeting their challenges and moving forward in life despite the challenges that can bring. And through this journey, they develop this sense of and this attitude that I'm going to do my best. I'm going to put my best foot forward, and I'm going to try to overcome my challenges and set goals for myself and meet those goals and persevere and push through. So all the things that we associate with champions, I believe we all are champions, and we all can be champions and take on that attitude. And then at the same time, when you build your strength and your skills and through your passion and through what you love, well, then you recognize the struggle in other people. And you may decide, I want to become a champion for my community, my church, my people, which are my family, my wife, my children, my friends, my neighbors. So champion is really about, building your strength, your confidence, and bringing that and helping others. And in helping others, that's, binding your community, and everybody moves up together. And then the for life aspect is simply living our best lives, putting our best foot forward, and for our entire lifespan. So that looks differently from every phase, every period of our lives. So that's really what's behind the meaning of Champions for Life Foundation, and for us, giving us the tools for children to live their best lives and be strong members of their communities.
For an entire lifetime.
Exactly.
The piece I love about that, David, is that it's for an entire lifetime.
Yes.
And I also love the fact that everybody's a champion. So on the Daily Huddle, we speak to entrepreneurs, and I thought that this conversation would be specifically appropriate for entrepreneurs like us, or any entrepreneurs, that the idea of being a champion for your clients, the idea of being a champion for your employees, the idea of being a champion for yourself as you are in business, and being so for your entire lifetime, but not being a champion for yourself, being a champion for life. And that includes everyone, everything, every aspect of life. So the fact that Champion for Life targets children, how did that come about? Why children?
Well, really, it's my own passion. If I could choose to do only one thing in the world, it would be to teach children Taekwondo. And when I teach Taekwondo, I'm not just teaching a skill or an art or a sport. I'm teaching life skills, and I'm part of a community. And I've been doing it for 32 years now. So I developed myself, grew up and played sports and different things, but my passion was Taekwondo. I was on the national team. Then I trained athletes. corporate executives, built a business around that. In 2006, my brother died of cancer, and his children were 8, 6, and 3 years old. And my children were 3 and 2. And I said, rather than spread myself around and travel here and there and help the top 1%, let me do what's core to myself, my family, and give back to my community, and really focused on building programs for children, because that's kind of our legacy in our family, is being active and enjoying life through sport and movement. And so I decided to give back in that way. And therefore, what was born was Champions for Life, and it became a foundation, a charity. And really the impetus was this passion for helping children. And, in discovering, so I was an entrepreneur. I consider myself now a social entrepreneur, where the metrics are impact on number of skills learned, number of happy children, number of children who express more confidence and motivation to be active, number of educators instructed on how to deliver on some physical literacy lessons. And so number of schools, number of children. So I've learned tremendously, I've learned so much about how to work with other people. Imagine I was an individual athlete, training individual athletes, training individual corporate athletes. Now I'm the executive director of a foundation with staff, with a board, running board meetings. And so it's been extremely quite a journey of learning for myself, and of growth, and of being able to grow stronger, to be able to give back to more. So I still teach Taekwondo 3 times a week to lots of children, have built a community through there. And I couldn't imagine anything better than to try to expand that kind of work in the world, which I feel is very needed.
Yeah, and as you've been creating that, you shared with me and discovered this thing called physical literacy. And we started talking to one another, and it's like, oh my God, literacy. Could this thing you're calling literacy be quite literally a reliable access to confidence, competence, and growth and self-expression, and access to participation anywhere?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about what you call literacy in your field.
Great. So I learned it because lots of people are blocked from participation because they don't know how to. So if you go to the beach and you're afraid of the water because you don't know how to swim, then that's a barrier of participation. Same thing for in terms of physical literacy, my field. If children don't know how to catch and throw and skip and jump and do the fundamental movement skills, it's a barrier of participation. And a barrier means that you can't engage in a community. You don't feel like you belong in that community. You can't take an action and step, even though that community might be inclusive. However, the literacy piece and how physical literacy ties together is there's a certain competence around words, around movements, around knowledge, whether it's mathematics and we're talking numeracy, or financial literacy, or literacy with words, or physical literacy with fundamental movement skills. So you have to know and understand, well, what is throw? I'm going to send you something, Sorel. I'm going to send you a ball. You're going to receive it and catch it. So that's part of, and there's a technique behind that. And that technique can be expressed in many ways and interpreted in many ways as well. You could be receiving for a certain purpose to keep, and then to take it through the end zone, or whatever it might be. So physical literacy is really about the knowledge, understanding of movement, building your competence. That competence, when you get better at it, develops your confidence in yourself and say, oh, I can do this and I can replicate this movement. And therefore you're motivated to participate in that activity and continue to develop and learn. So it becomes a cycle. It becomes a circle.
Yeah, and that cycle, I'm seeing that cycle as something that's universal,
Yes.
whether you're in literature, there are some fundamentals to learn that allow one to participate in writing.
Yes.
Whether you're in business, there are some fundamentals to learn that permit someone to participate and as an effective marketer, an effective engineer, whatever it is. So this bit about literacy has a connection to how entrepreneurs can see to it that they are successful and that their team members are also successful. If you were to connect this concept of literacy to the world of entrepreneurship, what do you want to say to entrepreneurs regarding literacy?
As entrepreneurs, often we're leading. We're saying, okay, we're going here. We have a vision. We're visionaries, and we figure out how to execute on that vision and take one step forward. And we're trying to bring people with us. We're talking with clients. We're talking with coworkers. We're talking with other organizations and people to collaborate and align ourselves all on this. And sometimes we're struggling to find a way to express how that gets done. So we have to learn that the language that we use is common to each, that there's a safe space to communicate. And that safe space doesn't make any assumptions that if I say this, the other person understands that it's this. So this ability to communicate expectations, outcomes, just where you are. I loved in your intro, where are you? Well, I'm here. When is it? It's now. So it sets the tone for this conversation. We are present. We're here today. We're together. So setting the stage for good communication, safe communication, and one that is clear in terms of the words that we actually use. So the literacy has to match the capacity of the group. And if the entrepreneur is striving to have a certain vision met or pushing towards a certain direction, well, everybody has to be communicating the same way. And sometimes it's just a matter of, making sure that this is what is being said is clear and is understood and is, part of the verbiage or vocabulary. And if not, then that's okay. Then it's just a question of connecting those points and making it clear.
So entrepreneurs like a Taekwondo teacher, Taekwondo instructor, entrepreneurs have, if you want to be successful, it's essential that you ensure that your team is literate. Literate in what? Well, you as the entrepreneur, I as the entrepreneur get to say, what are the fundamentals that are now part of my duty to ensure that my team members and my clients know? So it goes back to the fundamentals.
Yes.
And when someone's equipped with the fundamentals that way, David, what's the biggest difference that makes for a team, whether it's a Taekwondo team or business team?
Well, we were talking the other day, and it's funny because I don't know the words that are going to come out of my mouth in 3 seconds from now, but they're just going to spill out. So my fundamentals are the words that I'm using right now. So if we're equipped with the fundamentals, then we can know when to place them and where to place them and be present in the moment. So if we don't have the fundamentals, then we can't place these words, we can't place these actions. So it's also recognizing that, what's the common language? What are the fundamentals? So that we can put one in front of the other in the right sequence to bring us to where we want to get to. So the basic building blocks of the literacy, whichever we're using, financial literacy, talking, expressing emotions. So it's, anywhere from HR to accounting to sales and marketing. And, all these things have their own fundamentals. Mm-hmm. And then there's the language as well. And then there's the culture. What's the mission, the vision, the values behind everything that you're doing? So if you can speak a clear and consistent language and make it known to everybody, then it becomes part of your ecosystem. And then it's something that you can build on. It's a scaffolding that you can then layer one piece on top of each other. And using my Taekwondo experience, I want to explain to you, everyone's at different levels. You might have junior employees who are coming in that are figuring out, but they have a certain skill and a certain talent or something to bring to your work environment or community. In Taekwondo, we have a belt system. So you can start at any moment. You can start when you're 50, you can start when you're 5, you can start when you're 15, but you start at the white belt. And this is the place where knowledge begins. Where am I? What is this place? It's a dojo, a dojang, and what do I need to do to get into this community? So the community is already open, but you have to make your path and make your way. So I had a young student that asked me, what do the colors of the belts mean? And I couldn't explain. So I went back and I did a search and I saw some ideas, but nothing that I could explain to children, to children that are 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, that they can put into words themselves. So then I developed a story. And the story is that, to remember the sequence and the colors and kind of their meaning. Well, white belt is the first belt, and it goes white, yellow, green, blue, red, and black in Taekwondo. So the white, it represents light. It's the beginning of the journey. So through light, if you shine a prism, you get all the colors. So it's really infinite potential. Then yellow represents a seed that we sow. That seed then grows into a plant, which is green. And that plant is aspiring and going up to the sky, which is blue. Then when that plant matures, it becomes a flower that is red. So it's in its full strength and expressing itself. Then that plant becomes the earth because it's regenerated. And the earth then nourishes the seeds and is part of this whole ecosystem. So then I asked the children, well, which one is the most important? And most of the time they say the black. The black belt is the most important because it's nourishing all the seeds. And I say, well, no, actually, it's a whole ecosystem. The black belt cannot exist in a community, in a school, where students are developing without the white belt and the yellow and green and blue and red. It's part of a community. So each member of that community has a role in the development of that community. Each member of that community should have a sense of belonging and knowing what place they occupy within that community. Now, it's not a hierarchy in the sense that, well, the black is the most important. I mean, without students, who are you? Without clients, who are we as entrepreneur? Without employees, who are we? So it's really about looking at your whole ecosystem, your whole community, and saying each member, whether they've been there for 1 year or 5 years or plus, or whether they've come in with a certain level of education or a certain level of experience, serves the community. And we can learn from each other and we can draw value all from each other.
And therein lies the job of a leader, a business owner.
Yes.
Tending to the existence of that ecosystem and creating the space where all are welcome.
Yes.
And all develop over time the literacy that we say is necessary for participation and self-expression in that environment. Giovanni, good morning, my friend.
Yeah, good morning. Oh, this is so great, David. Thank you for being here. You're like a rock star, man.
Thank you, Giovanni.
The world needs more Davids for real. One of the aspects that I am committed to have it use me at some point. It's something you're pointing to, and I really like it. is that there is no one member of the community more important than the other member of the community. And I think that that certainly doesn't, it's not something that I can say for myself that's using me. I can't quite not live my life with a certain hierarchy. And I'm going to blame the social hypnosis. but I want to, out of this conversation, I really want to disabuse myself of that social hypnosis and start seeing everywhere that there's no one member more important than the other. And I think that that the more people maybe consider that possibility, I think there's a good chance of a different world. That's what I'm hearing, Sorel.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that David also mentioned is the fact that at any point in life, given that we're champions for life, which is today's invitation for you, David, there is never a peak that the champion reaches. The peak moment is actually now. The opportunity to be in life as a champion, growing and expanding through the continual building of literacy, whether it's physical literacy or business or leadership literacy, a commitment to practicing the fundamentals every day. And David, in that context, you say something about the difference between a white belt and black belt that I love, and I'd love for you to say it for us. So what is the difference between a black belt and a white belt?
Yes, it's so simple. A black belt is a white belt that just never stopped, that just continued on that journey. And Giovanni, what you're saying is, you know, you want to disassociate from this feeling of hierarchy. There are certain hierarchies that, and the way we structure ourselves provide the ability for the community to move forward in a certain way. When we're climbing a mountain, you know, and we're determined to get to the top of that mountain, we might need support teams and Sherpas and, you know, people who've prepared things for us. And we're going there, you know, maybe it's a team of 5 going to the top, but there's a team of 20 supporting at the bottom at the base camp. So this is all part of everyone is motivated to get that result and to help those 5 people climb to the top. And so therefore, every member of that team is critical, you know, whether you're making it to the top or not, whether you're going in front of people and making the sale or not, whether you're the entrepreneur that is the CEO or the leader of your gang, you rely on the entire team. And then what you realize is when you get to the top of that summit, you know, and you're appreciating every moment of the journey. We know, like, it's about the journey, not the destination. Well, you get to the top, and then now what? Well, I've climbed some mountains with a person who's done the 7 peaks, 7 summits in the world. And he said that it's from the summit that you see many other summits. So you look around and you're at the top and, oh, it's so beautiful, and look how far I've come up. And then you're like, oh, there's another summit there. You have the choice, you know, you climb down, and that's the one I want to go to next, you know. So it opens the doors, and you've built these skills, and your team has been stronger, and you decide to take on another challenge and continue the journey together or not. So it's a beautiful way to look at it. And everyone needs to agree to be on that journey together. You know, that's the part of that community that makes it special, where you're not having people beholden to you. You are saying, this is, you know, what we can do now with the capacity that we have. And therefore, you know, when we're going in this direction, are you in or are you out? And then, you know, when the people say they're in, well, you've created this environment for them where they feel that, you know, oh, I can contribute, I can do this, and I'm on board with that vision and mission. And the literacy part is setting up all your communication and making sure that that communication is clear and setting the stage for success. And the other thing I'd like to say is leadership takes many forms. And when I come into a class and I see, there's been a snowstorm outside, I'm in Montreal, Canada, and the children are rambunctious and they're excited. Well, depending on the energy, the children are teaching me what they need. They've been cooped up in the school all day. They haven't been able to go outside. So I let them run around. I let them get their energy out. So I'm learning as much from the students as, I'm teaching them. And I've got, let's say, 25 of them looking at me. I'm learning from 25 people. They're learning from one. Well, they're also learning from each other. So this dynamic that everybody contributes to the community. And in fact, we've got a program called Recess Champions where we train the older children to work with the younger children. And there's 6 modules, and the first is intro module to teach them what the program is. Then there's leadership, and there's different leadership styles. So there's an orator, the person who's going to give the explanations in front of other children. There's a demonstrator who's going to demonstrate skills, because we're going to demonstrate how we do certain movements and bringing the vocabulary piece to movement, the physical literacy piece. And then there's an encourager, the one who's going to always keep the environment positive. That could be your HR person. And then there's your organizer, the one who's bringing the equipment, who's scheduling the time and the space for the group and making sure that everybody is, moving where they need to be moving and when they need to be moving. And so it's really a team. It's not about just one person leading sessions with younger children. It's how do we accomplish this as a team? And they're learning their roles. And they also learn that, if they're a natural speaker, well, maybe when they want to develop some other skills, they want to develop their organizational skills. So I think at any moment, you take on this leadership role, but you're also recognizing the leadership that's happening around you, and that needs to take place for the entire community and organization to move forward and to be open to doing that. And the communication, the literacy piece is the most important connector between us. And really, literacy to me is about how we express ourselves. What is it that we're trying to say? And I can say I love you through those 3 words. And for a 2-year-old child to say that to their parent for the first time, it packs a punch, right? One that you're going to take right in the face. Thanks for Sorel for that great joke. And then the other way is through poetry, through a song, through a sonnet, there's so many ways we can express ourselves. And the more sophisticated we are in expressing, then it could draw meaning in different ways.
So,
Thank you,
David, thank you. Time flies on the Daily Huddle, folks. We're 4 minutes after, and Gio, I have not seen you on the Daily Huddle like this in a while. And in honor of your contribution to the existence of this, I want to give you the opportunity to close, my friend.
No, Sorel, I'm not ready to close. Keep closing.
You're not ready to close. I love the way you say hug the tree. Well, folks, there you have it. Giovanni says the time is now. And Sorel, you're closing. And I want to close with this. Literacy is literally the access to self-expression. So you can love, but you really can't love unless you've learned the fundamentals. You can laugh out loud, but you know what? If you can't get a joke through the fundamentals of language, you're in trouble. You can't participate there. And you can stress less. Every little bit of it in the context of being a champion for yourself and for others for life. You can take these tenets called eating right, sleeping well, resting, moving, and really creating it as a practice. The practice of being literate in every area of my life, and the practice of giving literacy and using literacy as the way to create an environment where everyone gets to participate and everyone gets to shine as the champion that they are for you. You may be leading, but you can't lead alone. Today is Friday. We'll be back here with you on Monday. We're here every day on the Daily Huddle, and the Daily Huddle doesn't happen without you. So with profound gratitude, I say goodbye, and I say have a great weekend. David, thank you for being here.
Thank you very much, Sorrel. Thank you, Giovanni. And thank you all.
Thank you, David. One love, guys. One love.
Thank you, David. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.